Hey everybody, what's up? You can pretty much see that in front of you right now is the game for the Nickelodeon Ninja Turtles. And this is what, and the reason it's up there is because I want to talk about something that I mentioned in a text that I did in one of my posts, one of my first posts that I did over at these, one of the Ninja Turtle fan sites, and I'll provide a link down below so you guys can look at it. But basically, I asked the question that you see here in the highlight, and that is April O'Neil, teen April O'Neil. You can see that the teen is parentheses or whatever you want to call it, or parentheses or whatever you want to call it. But basically, the question I had here was basically is April O'Neil able to temporarily mutate, transform, if you will. And what I mean by that is, ever since the 87 series, ever since the series began in 87 and officially went into full high gear in 88, went into official full high gear in 88, one of the trends, if you will, traditional trends with the Ninja Turtle franchise, no matter what section you look at, or no matter what, not section, but no matter what kind of media or medium, whatever you want to call it, that you watch Ninja Turtles on, or even read Ninja Turtles on, one of the media, basically it seems that in any one of these mediums, or any one of these media outlets, if you will, one of these medium or media outlets, if you will, April O'Neil has always had a situation to where she's mutated or she's transformed into something else. In the original 80s, late 80s to mid 90s cartoon, this happened to her 3 times. The most notable, of course, and it had an action figure made out of it, and it had an action figure based on it. The most notable was the second season, one of the first episodes of the second season, and it was called The Catwoman from Channel 6. And it's noted, and this episode is noted for this being the officially the first time that Irma ends up meeting the Turtles. But it's also notable specifically because it's the first time out of, I think would be 3 opportunities, or 3 times down the line. It's basically the first time out of 3 that April is mutated. So yeah, April becomes a Catwoman in this. But she is changed back, which is good. But then, about a season or 2 later, about the second season, she gets mutated into a fish woman with sonar powers. Okay? And then, I think later on in that season, or more importantly, like in the 5th season or something, she's temporarily mutated into a wasp queen, if you will. She's basically mutated into a wasp queen. And it seems, I'll say this about her, two out of these 3. It seems when she became a cat, a mutated cat, and a mutated wasp, it was twice her appearance sort of changed. Her hair kind of changed a little differently, her outfit changed a little bit differently, but that was about it. And of course these were all temporary changes. But then you take a look outside of the cartoon, and if you want to count maybe the side season, which was the European vacation episodes, and you want to add in the episode where she sort of gets possessed and starts slowly becoming and transforming into the Lost Queen of Atlantis, if you want to add that in, then okay, maybe 3 mutations, 1 transformation, personality-wise, whatever. Now, with that aside, though, it's not the original cartoon series isn't the only series where she's mutate, where she's changed, where she's physically changed by mutation or transformation. Physically or personality-wise, has changed by mutation or transformation. It's not the only series. The Archie comic book series has done the same thing. They have. The Archie comic book series has done the same thing. They literally have. Excuse me for a second. And what I mean is, not only have they done the same thing, but they've only done it, I think, maybe once or twice, maybe 3 times at the most, as far as I know. And what I mean by that is the fact that Archie had 2, not in the main comic, if you will, not in the main comic, but mainly it had 2 spin-offs, if you will, one being the traditional bi-monthly or tri-monthly, or whatever you want to call it, or quarter-monthly. Hold on for a second. The quarter-monthly 48-page special. They basically had something like, basically it was outside of the comic. It was outside of the comic, and it was basically one was one of their quarterly 48-page specials, and the other was the first issue out of 6 spin-off issues of an April comic book when Archie Comics had the Ninja Turtle license to do the comics, right? So these were the only 2 times I knew of. In the 48-page special, she somehow temporarily gets mutated into a female turtle with a white basically a white bandana, white wristband, basically she became a female turtle, but to distinguish her as being different, they gave her all her mask and everything was all white. But basically she looked like the rest of the guys, but she was female. And so to distinguish it, she was given a white outfit, if you will. A white mask and all that. But then when you got to the April miniseries, they did something else with her in the first issue. She used some kind of mystic thing or whatever it was to turn herself into some kind of ancient robot to battle her ancestor. To some kind of ancient robot warrior to battle her ancestor. And that the only way she reverted back was when both her and her ancestor's robot forms just melted down. Now it didn't mean she melted into a puddle. It just means it melted off of her and she was restored to normal. So again, the late 80s to mid 90s original cartoon series wasn't the only medium. As I just said, Archie Comics 2 had done that, but I don't know if they did it a 3rd time or not. All I know is of those 2 times. Now, IDW apparently did it as well. I don't know if Image did it. I know IDW did it. IDW did it in issue 7 of the micro series. In issue 7 of the micro series, focused on April. And it was like in the first few panels, maybe first page or so of the issue, one of the first pages of the issue, where basically she's having this dream of being a female turtle, and she has like a very sort of a lime greenish, lime yellow like mask, and she's wearing some kind of lime yellow mask, if you will. So basically, she's doing that. Hold on for a second. Gotta take care of something here. Hold on. checking on my dog. She has to go to the bathroom, and don't want her to go to the bathroom on the sod grass that we have. But anyway, like I said, you have, in other words, like I said, you had this dream sequence. I think it was like one of the first pages of issue 7 of IDW's micro series on the Turtles. And like I said, on the micro series of the Turtles. And she, again, it was basically a dream sequence. She had like a lime yellow like bandana on. So, you know, and again, it was just a dream sequence, but it too, IDW showed April as a mutant, even if it was a dream sequence. Even if it was a dream sequence, and that was it. Now, the 2K series, the 2003 to 2010 series, went, you know, for a while, for a majority of the series, we never had April, for a majority of the series, we never had her mutate or transform into anything until we got to Back to the Sewers. Until we got to the last season, which was dubbed Back to the Sewers. We got to that season, and it was in the episode The Engagement Ring where she mutated. Well, not mutated, but transformed. Basically, Casey is going to pop, basically Casey wants to pop the question, right? So he gets her an engagement ring, but the engagement ring is the wrong kind of ring that he should get her because it possesses a evil spirit, a yin-yang-like spirit. And basically you see the slow transformations at time, and then finally, within the last 5 minutes or so, last like 7, 5, whatever minutes, she ends up turning into this big, giant yin-yang demon. Basically, kind of like all this black stuff just oozes out, just pops and oozes out of her body, just oozes out of her body and stuff, and she just turns into this big demon. And she does revert back. She does revert back. But again, even though it took to the last season, which was dubbed Back to the Sewers, even the 2K animated series had her transform, aka mutate, into something else. Now again, the reason I bring this up and the reason I ask this question here on the forums, over at the forums there, and again I will provide a link so you guys can look on it yourselves. The reason I bring that up is because what I'm thinking is if the people behind this new series, if the people behind this new series, Nickelodeon TMNT if you will, if they're behind this, and they're behind doing things not just fresh and new, which I give them credit for trying, but also trying to keep some traditions going, try to keep some established things coming, if you will, either by reimagining these established storylines or backstories or characters, you know, or just, you know, bringing it out because it's part of the lore, the mystique of the Ninja Turtle franchise. The question I had, basically, again, the question that I asked, and again, you'll see the title that asked that question as well as you'll see the link, is basically, will they take a chance on continuing this tradition? Will they take the chance and say, okay, even if it's for one episode or so, let's mutate April. But what would they mutate her into? That would be the question. And let's mutate or transform April. But the question is, what would she mutate or transform into? What would she become? And a lot of people are thinking, well, there's got to be something that she could become. But what? What could she become, even if it's temporary? And then there are some people that have responded and they have said, you know what, I don't really want to see April mutate because, you know, it would be a bunch of BS because it would probably be just one episode. And they said, and there are some that have said, yeah, and there are some that have agreed. There are some that have agreed and said, yeah, it would be BS, but it could be redeemed if they did it if they kept her mutation for a little longer than just one episode, like maybe 2 or 3 episodes. That I can understand, because that way you could, even if she would still be herself, you could give her sort of you could sort of give her a taste of what it's like to be a mutant, so she can understand where the Turtles are coming from, even more so. I mean, she understands as their friend and as their ally, yeah, you know, not a lot of people are going to accept them. But that's what I think fans want. Fans would think, okay, if they were to do it for more than one episode. But the question would be, will it happen? I pretty much responded today, and I said, if it doesn't happen here in the 2nd season, it's going to happen in the 3rd season. You know, because it's got to happen one way or another. It's got to happen one way or another, because there's going to be a lot of long-time, hardcore fans that are going to expect April to at least go through one mutation in this series, even if she's a teenager. They're going to expect it. And they're going to expect it to happen very, very soon. But the question will be, when will it happen? How will it happen? See, these are questions a lot of fans have. I mean, one fan even asked, you know, they'd be intrigued on how Nickelodeon would do it. They're intrigued on how Nickelodeon would approach it. But again, how and will it happen is the question. Will it happen this season? Will it happen in the 3rd season? Because right now it seems that, according to what my nephew has informed me of, my soon-to-be 10-year-old nephew, because he watches it, and what I've read on the forums and online and all that, through the summaries, it seems the 2nd season is very heavily mutagen related. Well, not related, but focused on. Very heavily mutagen related, or focused. Basically, it seems every episode, if not every other episode, deals with the mutagen in some ways, and it mutating somebody. That's what it deals with. It deals with the mutagen and how it's going to affect somebody. And I'm thinking, because, and it's just my opinion, I'm thinking if this is what this season's about, then, you've got to have April play a factor. You've got to have April play a factor in in this somehow, other than just her temporary leave of absence of the Turtles. Basically, her temporary shun of the Turtles, which ended this past weekend, in case you guys don't know. But the question again being, will they make it happen? When? And the question is being, will she play more of a factor when it comes to the mutagen and all that? Will she get affected by it? You know, some say, well, she won't be affected. Some have said, no, that's not exact. No, mutagen, it won't. Now, some have said she won't be affected by mutagen. Others have had to correct them and say, actually, it's something else that she won't be affected by. It's mutagen's another deal. But the question is, will she be affected? And that is one thing, again, to me, that a lot of fans, they look at this and they're wondering, they're curious. They're like, okay, will it happen? Because that's something I'm wondering. Because, again, to me, every medium that I've known of, every medium, a majority of the Ninja Turtle medium, with the exception of the live-action movies, and stuff, every other medium has had her mutate or transform into something. So I'm thinking it's only a matter of time, should they do it, that it's going to happen here. But the question is, how, when, and will they do it just for one episode, or will they do it for maybe 2 episodes? That is the question. You know, me, I basically said this I said if they don't do it this, again, like I said in my response to my posting, into this post that I did, I said if they don't do it here, if they don't do it here, you know, if they don't do it in the second season, they're going to do it in the third season. And I will not be surprised if she becomes, and this is just my opinion. This is just my opinion. And I will not be surprised if maybe her mutation turns her into some kind of liquid girl. In other words, she's made entirely a liquid. She can bond with water, become one with water, melt into a puddle, shape-shift, whatever you want to call it. And it would be just temporary for her. I'm just curious if maybe that would happen, if that would be a mutation they would go with, or they would go with something similar to what she had in the original cartoon, or maybe in the Archie Comics. We don't know. You know, but again, it's just something that I'm curious about, and I'm wondering if they would do it. So let me know what you guys think down below. What do you think? I'll provide a link down below so you guys can click on it, check it out for yourselves. And that's all I'm going to say until then, God bless, take care, and I'm out.